My name's Christian Hanson, and for the most part I've lived in New Plymouth. Obviously with a really accessible mountain, Taranaki, it's a good one to spend some time on. I kind of got into climbing through going up the mountain with my father, and then when I went to Aotearoa Uni, got a bit more serious about it and went on a few courses and hooked up with some guys that are a bit more experienced than myself, and had a few adventures down there, and then came back up here with work. So it was back in 2012, and a couple of weeks prior I bumped into a guy at work, Paul, and he was keen to go climb the mountain in winter conditions. I'd probably done it 15, maybe 20 times before in similar sort of conditions, so he was keen to come along. A storm cycle had just passed through, and it was the first big dump of the season, although it wasn't particularly heavy, and the mountain was starting to clear. So I gave Paul a call and said, hey, maybe this weekend we'll be on. We were underway at about 6 o'clock, and then followed the standard northern route up the mountain. The snow was definitely really wind deposited, and there was a bit of wind slab around, but they just seemed to be in the kind of the shady aspects. The snowpack didn't seem very deep. Our plan was we were going to stick to the ridge as long as we could. At the last kind of safe moment, we traversed down onto the crater face, and you have to head out and basically traverse across a convex slope, which is in the lee. And as he was just approaching this big orange rock, the whole face released. I knew this was going to be pretty bad. It's kind of the part of the mountain where you just don't fall. It was kind of unbelievable at the time. I was expecting if there was going to be a slab, it would be maybe 10 centimetres thick, and it could bowl you off your feet. You're on a 40-degree slope, so it's not ideal, even a small avalanche, but this was really deep. As it went over the first rock band, it fully broke up. But then once it broke up, it just accelerated like something I've never experienced before. It's almost like as if you're kind of going down a waterfall. I had no idea which way was up or down, or all I knew was I was moving fast and downhill. I managed to kind of swim backwards, and I came to the surface. That worked, so I kept trying that. As it started to slow into the run-out zone, I was near the surface, and as it stopped, I was probably buried up to my waist. I turned around again, and I just saw Paul's hand sticking out of the snow, probably about 20, 30 metres above me. So I got out pretty quickly and managed to start digging him out. Probably took me about 30, maybe 40 minutes to get Paul fully so he could start digging himself out. Worked it out afterwards. It was probably about 600 metres. So we were right at the crater entrance, and it took us down to just above the Amberley Bluffs. Initially I wasn't aware of the fact that we'd been injured. Paul's ankle was on a bit of a funny angle. My elbow was obviously dislocated. We thought it's time we better get some help, and we called 111, and we heard back pretty quickly. We definitely knew there was some risk, but we obviously underestimated it quite significantly. I would have never expected the entire face to release, especially to that depth. Also been in a bit of a rush. We'd both seen that there was a bit of wind slab around. If we'd probably waited around for a couple more days for it to consolidate a bit better, the risk wouldn't have been there. So it's just kind of taking that opportunity and going for it. It's probably not the right thing to do. It just really caught us by surprise being on, little old Mount Taranaki, and this massive slab avalanche happened. I've become a lot more aware of potential avalanche risk, and a lot of the stuff that I've been taught on courses and through more experienced people, that it all kind of coalesces now into a bit more of a broader understanding of what the risk is. Yeah.